In a small town nestled between dense woods, there stood an old high school building with a sinister past. Legend had it that the school was built on the grounds of an ancient burial site, and strange occurrences had been reported for generations. One chilling tale that circulated among students was about a forgotten tunnel that ran beneath the school. It was said to be sealed off long ago after a group of students disappeared inside. Rumors whispered of eerie noises emanating from the sealed tunnel late at night, and some claimed to have seen ghostly figures lurking near its entrance. Despite warnings from teachers and staff, a group of daring students decided to investigate the tunnel one Halloween night. Armed with flashlights and nerves of steel, they pried open the rusted door leading to the forbidden passage. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, the air grew colder, and the echoes of their footsteps seemed to be swallowed by the earth itself. Suddenly, they heard faint whispers and the sound of something scraping against the walls. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. In a frantic attempt to escape, the students turned to flee, but the tunnel seemed to twist and stretch endlessly, leading them in circles. Their screams echoed through the empty corridors as they desperately searched for a way out. Finally, they stumbled upon a crumbling staircase that led to the surface. Gasping for breath and covered in dirt, they emerged from the tunnel, vowing never to speak of their harrowing ordeal again. To this day, the tunnel remains sealed, a haunting reminder of the dark secrets that lie beneath the surface of their high school. And those who dare to venture too close can still hear the whispers of the lost souls who never found their way out.
As the days passed after their horrifying experience in the tunnel, the group of students tried to move on with their lives. But strange occurrences seemed to follow them wherever they went. One by one, they started experiencing inexplicable nightmares, each more vivid and terrifying than the last. They would wake up in a cold sweat, unable to shake the feeling of dread that lingered long after they opened their eyes. Soon, they began noticing shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their vision, disappearing as quickly as they appeared. Doors would slam shut on their own, and objects would move inexplicably across the room. Fearing for their sanity, the students confided in each other, realizing that they were all experiencing the same haunting phenomena. They knew they had to confront whatever malevolent force they had unleashed in the tunnel that fateful Halloween night. With trembling hands and hearts pounding in their chests, they gathered at the entrance of the sealed tunnel once again, determined to put an end to the nightmare once and for all. Armed with holy water, sage, and crosses, they prepared to face whatever evil lurked in the darkness. As they pried open the rusted door and descended into the depths of the tunnel, they were met with an overwhelming sense of dread. But this time, they were not alone. A faint glow emanated from the darkness ahead, illuminating the way forward. With courage bolstered by the presence of each other, they pressed on, determined to confront the source of their torment. And as they reached the heart of the tunnel, they came face to face with the restless spirits of the past. Through tears and trembling voices, they pleaded for forgiveness, offering prayers and condolences to the souls trapped in limbo. And as they did, the oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the whispers faded into silence. Emerging from the tunnel once again, the students felt a sense of peace wash over them, knowing that they had laid the spirits of the past to rest. From that day forward, the haunting occurrences ceased, and the high school regained a sense of normalcy. But the memory of their terrifying ordeal would forever be etched into their minds, a reminder of the thin veil between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. And though they had faced unimaginable horrors, they emerged stronger, bound together by a shared experience that would never be forgotten. In the aftermath of their confrontation with the spirits in the tunnel, the group of students found themselves bonded by a unique and harrowing experience. They formed an unspoken pact to keep the events of that night buried deep within their memories, fearing the judgment and skepticism of those who hadn't witnessed the supernatural occurrences firsthand. Despite their efforts to move on with their lives, the echoes of the past continued to linger. Strange happenings still occurred sporadically around the school, though they were much less frequent and intense than before. Whispers of the paranormal spread through the student body, fueling speculation and fear. As weeks turned into months, the students tried to return to some semblance of normalcy. However, the events of that Halloween night had left an indelible mark on each of them, shaping their perceptions of the world and the unseen forces that lurked within it. One evening, as the group gathered for a quiet dinner at a local diner, they found themselves reminiscing about their shared ordeal. The conversation turned to speculation about the origins of the spirits they had encountered in the tunnel and the unsettling history of the school itself. Suddenly, a stranger approached their table, a weathered look of recognition crossing his face. He introduced himself as a former student of the school, claiming to have knowledge of the dark secrets that lay hidden beneath its walls. Intrigued and wary, the group listened as the stranger recounted tales of forbidden rituals and ancient curses that dated back centuries. He spoke of a sinister presence that had haunted the school for generations, feeding off the fear and anguish of those who dared to cross its path. As the night wore on, the stranger revealed that he, too, had once ventured into the forbidden tunnel in search of answers. What he had found there had shaken him to his core, driving him to seek out others who had experienced the supernatural phenomena firsthand. With a sense of urgency, he implored the group to delve deeper into the mysteries of the school, to uncover the truth behind the haunting and put an end to the cycle of torment once and for all. And so, fueled by curiosity and a shared sense of purpose, the group embarked on a journey into the heart of darkness, prepared to confront the malevolent forces that lurked within the shadows of their high school. But little did they know that their quest for answers would lead them down a path from which there may be no return. As the group delved deeper into the mysteries of the school, they encountered increasingly sinister manifestations of the supernatural. Shadows seemed to dance just out of reach, whispers echoed through empty corridors, and the air grew heavy with the weight of unseen eyes watching their every move. Despite their growing unease, the group pressed on, determined to uncover the truth and put an end to the haunting once and for all. Armed with knowledge gleaned from the stranger and their own courage, they navigated the labyrinthine passages of the school, following clues that hinted at a dark and ancient evil lurking just beneath the surface. Finally, they found themselves standing before a hidden chamber, deep within the bowels of the building. The air was thick with malevolence, and an ominous chill ran down their spines as they stepped into the chamber, prepared to confront whatever awaited them within. As they entered, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the core. An altar stood at the center of the room, surrounded by flickering candlelight and strange symbols etched into the walls. And there, looming in the shadows, was the source of the haunting, a malevolent spirit, twisted and tormented by centuries of rage and anguish. With hearts pounding and adrenaline coursing through their veins, the group rallied together, channeling their collective strength and resolve into a final confrontation with the dark entity. Through sheer force of will and the power of their unity, they banished the spirit back to the depths from whence it came, sealing the chamber and restoring peace to the school once and for all. As they emerged from the depths of the building, a sense of relief washed over them, mingled with a profound sense of accomplishment. Though scars from their ordeal remained, they knew that they had triumphed over the forces of darkness and ensured that the school would be a safe haven for generations to come. And as they parted ways, each going their separate paths in life, they carried with them the knowledge that they had faced unimaginable horrors and emerged stronger for it, bound together by a bond forged in the fires of adversity. For they were the guardians of their high school, protectors of its secrets, and heroes in the truest sense of the word.
The second story. In the heart of a sprawling city stood an imposing mansion, shrouded in mystery and whispered legends. Generations of locals spoke of the cursed estate, claiming that it was haunted by the restless spirits of its former inhabitants. Among the most chilling tales was that of the Vandermeer family, who had mysteriously vanished without a trace one fateful night, leaving behind a home frozen in time. Locals whispered of strange lights flickering in the windows at midnight and ghostly apparitions roaming the overgrown grounds. Despite the warnings, a group of adventurous teenagers dared each other to spend a night in the abandoned mansion, eager to unravel its secrets and prove their bravery. Armed with flashlights and nerves of steel, they crept through the overgrown gardens and slipped through a broken window into the darkness within. As they explored the labyrinthine corridors and dusty chambers, they were met with eerie sights and sounds that sent shivers down their spines. Shadowy figures seemed to dart just out of sight, and disembodied whispers echoed through the empty halls. But the true horror awaited them in the depths of the mansion's cellar, a hidden chamber concealed behind a secret door, its walls adorned with arcane symbols and chilling sigils. As they ventured further into the darkness, they stumbled upon a forgotten ritual site, where the Vandermeer family had conducted unspeakable ceremonies to appease dark forces beyond their comprehension. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the chamber, extinguishing their flashlights and plunging them into pitch darkness. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. The malevolent spirits of the Vandermeer family had awakened from their slumber, thirsting for vengeance against those who dared disturb their eternal rest. With hearts pounding and terror coursing through their veins, the teenagers fought to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirits, navigating the treacherous maze of corridors and staircases as the mansion itself seemed to come alive with malevolent intent. Finally, they burst through the front doors and into the cool night air, their screams echoing through the darkness as they fled the cursed estate, vowing never to return. But as they left the mansion behind, they couldn't shake the feeling that something had followed them out of the darkness, a lingering presence that would haunt their dreams and whisper of the horrors that lurked within the shadows of the Vandermeer mansion. And so, the legend of the cursed estate lived on, a chilling reminder of the thin veil between the world of the living and the realm of the dead, and the dangers that awaited those who dared to delve too deep into the mysteries of the past. As the days passed after their harrowing encounter at the Vandermeer mansion, the group of teenagers tried to put the traumatic events behind them. Yet, despite their best efforts to move on with their lives, they found themselves haunted by lingering memories and unshakable dread. Strange occurrences began to plague their everyday lives, objects would inexplicably move on their own, whispers would drift through empty rooms, and the feeling of being watched lingered like a shadow wherever they went. Sleepless nights became the norm as nightmares of the mansion's dark secrets tormented their dreams. Desperate for answers and closure, the group banded together once more, determined to unravel the mysteries that continued to torment them. They delved into local archives and historical records, piecing together fragments of the mansion's dark history and the Vandermeer family's descent into madness. Their investigation led them to a hidden chamber beneath the mansion, a forgotten catacomb where the secrets of the past lay buried in the depths of the earth. Armed with determination and a newfound resolve, they descended into the darkness, prepared to confront the malevolent forces that lurked within. As they explored the shadowy corridors of the catacomb, they uncovered ancient artifacts and forbidden tomes that hinted at a dark and sinister power buried within the mansion's foundations. But their progress was halted by a series of deadly traps and spectral guardians determined to protect the secrets of the Vandermeer family at any cost. With each passing obstacle, the group grew more determined to uncover the truth, risking life and limb to break the curse that had plagued the mansion for generations. And as they ventured deeper into the heart of darkness, they came face to face with the true source of the malevolent forces that had haunted them since that fateful night. In a climactic showdown against the ancient evil that lurked within the catacomb, the group fought with all their strength and courage, wielding the knowledge and artifacts they had gathered in their quest for redemption. And as the final battle raged, the mansion trembled with the fury of the unleashed power, threatening to consume all who dared to defy its dark will. But in the end, it was the strength of their unity and the purity of their hearts that proved to be their greatest weapon against the darkness. With a final act of sacrifice, they banished the malevolent spirits back to the depths from whence they came, breaking the curse that had plagued the Vandermeer mansion for centuries. As dawn broke over the horizon, the group emerged from the catacomb, battered but victorious, their bond stronger than ever before. And as they left the cursed estate behind, they knew that they had not only saved themselves but had also brought peace to the tormented souls who had suffered within its walls. And though the memory of their ordeal would forever linger in their minds, they walked away from the Vandermeer mansion with a newfound sense of purpose and a belief that even in the darkest of times, the light of hope and courage would always prevail. As the group emerged from the catacombs beneath the Vandermeer mansion, they were greeted by the warm embrace of the rising sun, its golden rays casting aside the shadows of the night. Exhausted but triumphant, they stood together, gazing upon the once cursed estate with a sense of awe and relief. With the curse broken and the malevolent spirits banished, the mansion stood silent and still, its dark secrets laid bare for the first time in centuries. And as the group made their way back to the safety of the city, they knew that they had accomplished something truly extraordinary. Word of their bravery and heroism spread throughout the town, transforming them from mere teenagers into local legends. They were hailed as saviors, their names whispered in awe and reverence by those who had once feared the cursed estate and the horrors that lurked within its walls. But for the group, the true reward lay not in the adulation of others, but in the bond they had forged through adversity and the knowledge that they had made a difference in the world. As they returned to their normal lives, they carried with them the memories of their shared journey and the strength they had discovered within themselves. And though they would always carry the scars of their ordeal, they knew that they were stronger together than they could ever be alone. For in the face of darkness, they had found light, and in the depths of despair, they had discovered hope. As they looked to the future, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and determination, secure in the knowledge that they would always have each other to lean on. And as they walked away from the Vandermeer mansion, they did so with their heads held high, ready to face whatever adventures awaited them next. For they were not just survivors, they were heroes, bound together by a shared experience that would forever unite them in the annals of history. And as they disappeared into the horizon, their spirits soared, knowing that they had truly earned their place among the legends of their town. The third story. In a remote village nestled deep within the mist-shrouded forests, there stood an abandoned asylum with a dark and sinister past. Locals whispered of the asylum's troubled history, recounting tales of unspeakable horrors and the tortured souls who had once dwelled within its walls. Among the most chilling legends was that of Dr. Alexander Crow, the asylum's notorious director who had conducted twisted experiments on his patients in the name of science. It was said that his spirit still roamed the halls of the abandoned asylum, seeking vengeance against those who dared to trespass on his domain. Despite the warnings, a group of thrill-seeking teenagers decided to spend the night in the abandoned asylum, eager to test their courage and uncover the truth behind the whispered tales. Armed with cameras and flashlights, they ventured into the decaying building, the air thick with the scent of decay and despair. As they explored the dilapidated corridors and crumbling wards, they were met with chilling sights and sounds that sent shivers down their spines. Ghostly apparitions seemed to materialize out of the darkness, and the echoes of anguished screams echoed through the empty halls. But the true horror awaited them in the asylum's underground tunnels, a labyrinthine network of passageways where Dr. Crow had conducted his most gruesome experiments. As they ventured deeper into the darkness, they stumbled upon a hidden chamber filled with rusted medical equipment and blood-stained operating tables. Suddenly, a bone-chilling wail echoed through the tunnels, sending the teenagers scrambling for safety as they realized they were not alone. The malevolent spirit of Dr. Crow had awakened from his slumber, his spectral form twisted and contorted with rage as he sought retribution against those who dared to disturb his eternal rest. With hearts pounding and terror coursing through their veins, the teenagers fought to escape the clutches of the vengeful spirit, navigating the treacherous maze of tunnels as Dr. Crow's ghostly minions closed in around them. In a desperate bid for survival, they stumbled upon a hidden exit that led them out of the asylum and into the moonlit forest beyond. Gasping for breath and covered in sweat, they collapsed on the forest floor, their minds reeling from the horrors they had witnessed. As they caught their breath, they realized that their ordeal was far from over. The spirit of Dr. Crow still lingered within the abandoned asylum, his thirst for vengeance unquenched. And as they looked back at the looming silhouette of the asylum against the night sky, they knew that they would forever be haunted by the memories of their nightmarish encounter. For in the depths of the abandoned asylum, they had come face to face with the true meaning of fear, and the darkness that lurked within the human soul. And though they had escaped with their lives, they knew that they would never truly be free from the specter of Dr. Crow and the horrors of the asylum that had claimed so many innocent lives. As the teenagers caught their breath in the safety of the moonlit forest, they realized that their night had only just begun. Dr. Crow's malevolent presence lingered like a shadow over the asylum, his vengeful spirit seething with rage and thirsting for retribution. Determined to put an end to the curse that had plagued the abandoned asylum for decades, the group of teenagers rallied together, their nerves of steel bolstered by the adrenaline coursing through their veins. They knew that they had to confront Dr. Crow's spirit head-on and put an end to his reign of terror once and for all. Armed with makeshift weapons and the courage of their convictions, they made their way back to the asylum, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. As they entered the decaying building once again, they were met with an overwhelming sense of dread, the air heavy with the weight of the asylum's dark history. Navigating the labyrinthine corridors and shadowy wards, they finally came face to face with Dr. Crow's ghostly form, his eyes burning with an otherworldly rage as he unleashed his spectral minions upon them. But the teenagers stood their ground, their resolve unshakable as they fought back against the forces of darkness. In a climactic battle that echoed through the abandoned asylum, the teenagers waged war against Dr. Crow and his minions, their courage and determination shining like beacons of light in the darkness. With every blow and every incantation, they weakened the malevolent spirit's hold on the asylum, inching closer to victory with each passing moment. And as the final confrontation reached its peak, the teenagers unleashed a burst of pure energy that banished Dr. Crow's spirit back to the depths of the netherworld, sealing the asylum's dark past once and for all. With a triumphant cry, they emerged from the decaying building, their faces illuminated by the first light of dawn. As they looked back at the abandoned asylum, now shrouded in a newfound peace, they knew that they had accomplished something truly extraordinary. Though scars from their ordeal remained, they had triumphed over the forces of darkness and ensured that the asylum would no longer be a beacon of fear and despair. And as they walked away from the cursed building, their hearts filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment, they knew that they would forever be bound together by the shared experience of their nightmarish encounter. For in the face of unspeakable horror, they had emerged as heroes, champions of light in a world consumed by darkness. As the first light of dawn bathed the forest in its gentle glow, the group of teenagers emerged from the shadow of the abandoned asylum, their hearts lightened by the sense of victory and relief. Behind them, the cursed building stood silent and still, its dark secrets buried beneath layers of history and forgotten nightmares. As they made their way back to the safety of the village, a sense of peace settled over them, their minds finally free from the specter of Dr. Crow and the horrors of the asylum. They knew that they had faced unimaginable challenges and emerged victorious, their bonds stronger than ever before. Word of their bravery spread throughout the village, transforming them from mere teenagers into local heroes. They were hailed as saviors, their names spoken with reverence by those who had once feared the haunted asylum and the malevolent spirit that dwelled within its walls. But for the group, the true reward lay not in the adulation of others, but in the knowledge that they had made a difference in the world. They had confronted their fears and overcome them, proving that even in the darkest of times, courage and unity could triumph over evil. As they returned to their normal lives, they carried with them the memories of their shared journey and the strength they had discovered within themselves. And though they would always carry the scars of their ordeal, they knew that they were stronger together than they could ever be alone. As they looked to the future, they knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and determination, secure in the knowledge that they would always have each other to lean on. For in the end, it was their friendship and unwavering bond that had guided them through the darkness and into the light. And as they disappeared into the embrace of the village, their hearts filled with hope and gratitude, they knew that they had truly earned their place among the heroes of legend. For in the face of unspeakable horror, they had emerged victorious, their spirits soaring on the wings of triumph and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.